Hi everyone, this is Colleen Beamish from Humor Bean Cards, and today I am veering away from card making to do a little look at my prep for the Week in the Life project for 2025. Week in the Life is a project that was started by Allie Edwards to document a week in the life, in case you didn't get that from the title. So basically just observing kind of what your day-to-day life looks like, the little details, and really just the season that you're in. So this is my second year doing this project. Last year's project was actually a challenge for me, partly because I chose a 10 by 8 album, which I hadn't used before, and so I'm not doing that this year. And I was kind of just going about that in a way that felt kind of aimless. So this year I have prepared differently, and I'm really looking forward to documenting. So I will be joining the community in documenting Week in the Life next week, starting June 2nd. And I am really looking forward to it. So I just wanted to give you a little peek at the prep I've done so far. And then I also have some other ideas I wanted to share that I'm not necessarily using in my album, but that I thought other people might find very helpful. So like I said, I'm using a 6 by 8 album this year. This album was actually part of last year's release, but since I did the 10 by 8, I didn't use it. So I'll be using it this year. Opening up here, I don't have my title page yet, so there will actually be a different setup for starting, but I haven't gotten around to it. But once I start documenting the days, each day is going to start with my transparency here. I absolutely love these. I love the colors, the pattern, and the little window. Each transparency has a little window in a different square, so I really love that. And then going right into the documenting, last year I had a full page photo right off the bat to kind of introduce the day, but this time I'm actually going to introduce it with kind of what my day looked like on like a time-stamped schedule. So this piece was originally 10 inches long, and I cut it down to be the height of my other pages. So it is 8 inches long now. And then I took one of the little die cut pieces and glued that right into that little circle. So it's Monday, M for Monday. And then I'm going to print out my schedule from the day. So as I go about my days next week, I will be keeping note of, what time I'm doing what. So if I wake up at 7, it would say 7 a.m., wake up, 8 a.m., breakfast, and so on and so forth. So if I have, work 9 to 5, and then in my evening, how I'm spending that time. And then on the back of this, right now it's blank. This will be my outfit of the day. Although I feel like this is a very big space just for a picture of me in my outfit. So I think what I'm actually going to do is still print it large format, but then cut it out in kind of a scalloped edge. That's going to be something you'll see throughout the products for this year. So I'll do kind of a scalloped edge and maybe decorate around it. I'm not quite sure yet. And then on this page, I have a page protector with 4 3x4 pockets. So as I mentioned earlier, this year I didn't want to be quite as aimless with my documenting because it just becomes very overwhelming to me when I'm taking pictures of everything and then not sure what to highlight in the album. So this year I picked kind of a theme for each day. I don't remember right off the top of my head what each day is. I know Monday is about work. So on this card, which will be repeated in every section, I'll kind of put what the focus of the day was. I'm not just going to put the word work, but maybe I'll put, I don't know, a longer sentence or even a quote that's relevant to my work life. And then there will be spaces for 2 photos here. And then I have the currently scalloped piece. These came in the Little Bits of Life. I actually got a spare packet. So they came like this with the vellum pocket with these tucked in. But I actually really like these as separate pieces. So I'm going to use this, and that will I can put in there something I'm currently doing, something I'm currently focused on. So like at work, I work in fundraising. So right now it's the time of year where we're working on our fundraising plan for the next fiscal year. And I have a fundraising event later in the month, so I might be focused on that. So just highlighting one big thing that's, taking up brain space at the time. And then flipping over, I'm leaving this pretty blank for now. It's the opportunity for 3 more photos pertaining to my work life, or a couple photos and some journaling about the photos. On this, I plan to do some journaling, more detailed journaling about work. So what I'm loving, what I'm struggling with, and what's going on in my work life. Going on to the next page, I have, this is just temporarily taped together because I haven't decided. I'm probably going to sew it together, but I wanted to have flexibility in case I do want to end up moving things around based on what I capture throughout the week. But I have the scalloped edge piece here, and I put my ing words. Those are from the word sticker sheet, which I love this. I might have to order another one of these, just because I love all the options and the colors. And the font too, I really love. So each day, obviously I don't really know what's going to be super applicable to that day, but I wanted to just set up the prompts now and try to fill them in rather than trying to figure it out later on. So doing as much prep now as I can, I think will really benefit me in the long run. And then right here, I'm not sure what I'm doing here yet. So I'm thinking either it could be photos pertaining to what I'm, in this example, listening to. So I was planning to just put some either listing or putting what I'm listening to. So if I'm listening to, Taylor Swift albums on repeat, which has been happening a lot lately, or podcasts, I'll probably just list them there. And then here, I'll either put photos, or I was also thinking of putting a pocket that I could stick ephemera into, or other things I document. And then the back of this will be a full page photo. At least I think it will be. I kind of like the idea of still having, like, the photo will be here and then still having a scalloped edge next to it. This is kind of the main full page photo opportunity that I currently have planned, but we'll see if that changes. On this page, I have the 4x6 pocket with 2 3x4 pockets. And right now I have the Life in Numbers oval die cut. So I want to be counting something each day. I have some ideas written down of what I want that to be, but it will probably be flexible. And I've also been considering doing like a number from the whole week. So maybe in the work themed one, I'd be counting something pertaining to work, like how many work emails I received and answered or something. But that number would actually be the whole week, not just the day, so that I'm capturing kind of the full picture of what a week looks like in numbers. You'll also notice that this isn't the same color as all the other pieces. This year, I wanted to kind of try incorporating different colors into the different sections. Like obviously Monday is still red, you can tell. But I wanted some other pops of the other colors so that it wasn't just red. So like these are the green stickers, and you saw this was the pink scalloped piece. So just trying to get a little bit more creative with it. And then this pocket is an opportunity for another photo. And then down here, I love this, but I think it would be super pretty with a quote. My brush lettering isn't great, but time to practice, I guess. But I was thinking something from the day, or something maybe that's stuck in my head, or something somebody says that resonates with me, or something from a book that I'm reading that resonates with me, and kind of writing that right on there. The back of this is pretty empty too. This is the vellum pocket. I just have it taped in place. It's pretty much the same size as the back of the oval, so I was thinking I would use it there. I'm still not sure what I'm putting in this. I do technically, like I said, I got a second pack of these, so I could use these again. The other things I was considering are just die cutting out a circle, which I'm trying to find. I have 2 different options here. So I have a little die cut circle that would fit in there. Let me take the tape off and show you. So it can go right in here like this and be its own piece. Or I also have this die cut shape with the scallop, which is kind of, you know, fitting with that motif and sticking that in there. But I'm not really sure what I want on that. So I'm still thinking that through, hoping that something through the week just kind of sparks an idea for that, because I really do want to use this vellum piece. So I'll leave that tape there for now. And then again, these are opportunities for more photos or storytelling. Some things that I do kind of want to have a space for, but currently don't have a designated space, is capturing kind of news headlines, what the weather is, screenshots from my phone, or capturing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I think what's really important about this project is figuring out what actually matters to me to be documented and captured. So like last year, I didn't have those themes and I was just capturing every single thing and then getting overwhelmed. So certain things like news and weather, I don't really care, because you'll kind of be able to tell the weather in my photos, or maybe it will be included in my like full day journaling. Or like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'm not super worried about it, but if there is opportunities, or if I feel like I do want to capture it, I'll probably add something in, or maybe incorporate that into what I already have laid out here. Next, I have a 2x2 page. I'm actually going to flip to the next day because I did run out of my 2x2 square page protectors. So that one, on Monday, I have a shorter one that will probably end up being moved, because I feel like I take the most pictures on Monday and will take the least photos on Sunday. But this is what my 2x2s look like. So right now I have the little, what are these called? Plastic half circles in the center. So Tuesday, today look like this in those color schemes. And then I have the little 2x2 squares. These came in the, was it the add-on cardstock kit? I got like all the kits. So I have the main kit, the add-on kit, the transparencies, and then the by the numbers kit. And I'll link everything down in the description below so you can check them out. If I'm pretty sure things are still available. I'm honestly not sure. But I'll have everything linked that I can. So then here I will be filling this in with little photos from the day that maybe don't necessarily go with the theme, but are also like moments from my day. So that's why I kind of like using this today look like this, because it's just like general things from the day. I also took these little circles. These came in the numbers kit and they look like this. We have 1 through 10 and then the word details, but I wanted to incorporate it in here and have an opportunity for me to write what I'm feeling for the day. And obviously feelings shift throughout the day. So kind of just the primary mood I was in that day. And then, let me take this out of here. Right now I just have this taped on, but it's a little plastic plus sign. There was only 5 of these in the by the numbers kit. So I'm gonna make 2 more just to go with it, just on normal paper. I don't really care that it's not gonna match exactly. But so I have that covering up the number. And then I took the word sticker from the word sticker sheet feeling and put that on there in the coordinating color. And then I'm going to write kind of that mood here. So lately I've been feeling very tired. So I would just fill the word tired in that half circle. And that goes right into my album here. Is that where I had that? Did I have it down below? Doesn't matter. I think also things will kind of shift as things will also shift as I add in the photos. Some of the colors might shift too, just based on the colors in my photos and everything. So things are staying flexible. I should also say there's a lot of pieces that I still want to incorporate. So like we have these larger numbers from the by the numbers kit. We have some other half circles that say remember, as well as some other chipboard. So I definitely want to use the this story chipboard and some of these other half circles that were included. I also have some pieces from last year. Wait, let me finish with this year. So There's the chipboard hearts that I'll probably incorporate on some photos. And then also all these by the number plastic pieces. So counting sleeps, counting books, counting moments. Oh, is that what that says? Months. So just things like that. I think I will incorporate a bit more. Those are going to be a little bit more dependent on what happens in the week. And then I definitely will be counting some money aspects. So how much I'm spending, how much I'm saving, and I like capturing like what are gas prices right now or stuff like that. So I definitely will be using some of those. And then I have some products from last year that I would like to incorporate. We'll see if they get incorporated, but I have all of these banners. I didn't use really any of these. I used like one per day last year, so I have a ton of these. The colors are pretty similar to this year, so I think it'll be pretty easy to kind of mix them in. But I just find banners kind of hard to use. I mean, they do fit in the 2x2s, so we'll see. And then I also have these pockets with the days of the weeks. This font obviously matches the album, so it could be cool to incorporate those. And then these just have a blank card inside. I'm not exactly sure how to use these, which is also why they weren't used last year, so we'll see. I think this type of thing is also great in travel albums, because if you go somewhere for like a week, it's the same thing, like the days of the week can be used, so they might be used for another project. So yeah, let me keep going though, because I'm technically not done yet. So this back of the 2x2s is mostly going to be photos. I might, like I just said, incorporate some of these other pieces so that I still have fun things going on. I can even incorporate some numbers if it's appropriate. But yeah, I never know how many photos I'm going to take and want to include, so I'm keeping things flexible. And then like I had on Monday, I had the just the 2 columns of squares, so I don't have to have the full 2x2s if I feel like I don't have enough photos to fill the front and the back. I can always just cut it down, or I had that in my stash, but I don't think I have more of those, so I'll probably just cut down a full page of 2x2s. Okay, and then this divider. These are very fun. I like them a lot. I like the scalloped edge and how that kind of sticks out and how it looks against the transparency for the next day, because you kind of see those colors peeking out. I was trying to think of something creative to use these for, and I came up with a whole bunch of ideas. So first I'll say what my plan is, and then I'll kind of go into some of the other ideas I had. I was surprised I wasn't seeing a lot of different usages of this piece. So I am filling the gap, or trying to, with some ideas for this. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to make this into a pocket. I've already used my X-Acto knife to cut out the bottom right where the colors split. And then I'm going to, I think I'm going to put a full page photo here as well, and that will kind of create the back of my pocket, so it will be glued down around the edges, and then it will create a pocket for the front. I'm going to print out each day. I'm going to do journaling, and that will just be journaling about the day in general, everything that happened, how I was feeling, just all the details of the day. And then I'm going to print that out in a size, I don't know what size this is, but that size, and it will slip right into the pocket, so that it's there and you can read it, but you don't have to. You could also make 2 pockets or even 3 pockets if you wanted to put just a backer that goes behind each line like that, and X-Acto knife these 3, and then you could have 3 different pockets. So you could put ephemera, you could put the headlines from the day, or whatever other bigger pieces that you wanted to incorporate. Now here is my trusty planning notebook, and I wrote down some different options of how to use these dividers. So the pocket idea, that's this one. But then you could also incorporate photos. So one option would be to die cut out. So here's the thing. You could definitely just tape photos right on top of this, but I feel like that's just kind of like boring. So to take it a step up, what I would do if I wanted to use photos for this is I would actually cut out a rectangle to make it like a frame and put the photos behind it. So you could either do the photos on a whole new page, and this just acts as like a sneak peek to the photo, or you could tape the photo to the back, have it go through the frame, and then cover up the back of this with something else. So then it's just kind of like windows to photos. So you could do 3 long rectangles. The other thing is you could just do little squares here and then tell a story. So do some journaling right here, right here, and right here. At one point I was thinking I could do like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then like write about what I ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's one thing, is doing like little die cut windows. And I still really love that idea. But I just have so many other opportunities to incorporate photos. So I needed some place to kind of stick other things in. And then this idea is really fun. Do you remember when you're a little kid, there's those like flip books where it's like a spiral binding, and you can flip one up. There's like 3 sections, and you can flip each one up to reveal something. So like you can mix and match, like say it was, I don't know, like an outfit, and you could flip 1 up to choose the shirt, and flip 3 up to choose the pants, and flip 4 up to pick the shoes or something. So I was kind of thinking you could do that with this piece, like create 3 flip ups if you cut it into 3 strips, and then behind each one could be a photo, or a photo with a story, or something like that. I just thought that would be really cool, and they would stay, united. So you could keep the holes together, like score it right here so they just fold back, or you could cut all the way across. I guess that wouldn't work because the middle one wouldn't stay on, but if you scored it, and then they would be 3 little flip ups. Hopefully that makes sense. But those were all the ideas I came up with for this divider, because I thought you could get really creative with it. I'm probably going to add some sort of stamping or design down here. Maybe that's a good opportunity to put the this story die cut. Let me see if one of them has already popped out. So putting this here, because obviously I'm telling the story of the day in my journaling, or it could even be up at the top. Yeah, I kind of like the top better. Or I might do some stamping down here saying maybe the day of the week, or who knows. I'm keeping it flexible. And then, like I said, I'm probably going to do another full page photo here. The question for me is like, should this full page photo be the day that it's like closing? So would it be Tuesday in this case, or would it be Wednesday, the day we're going into? So I'm not sure. And it probably depends on the photos that I really like and want to highlight. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with this project, and I'm feeling really good about it. I think I like the products even more this year than I did last year. And having done it once, I kind of have a better idea of what I actually want to capture and care about. I'll actually go through the themes just so that you have an understanding of kind of where I'm coming from. So when I first was like, okay, I'm definitely doing this project again this year, I wrote down what's important to me. It's kind of my why. So Allie Edwards often includes her reason why for her albums. I probably am going to do that as well, my reason why. And then I really want to document what the big changes since last year are. So I haven't been documenting my project life recently. I actually haven't been doing really any scrapbooking of my day-to-day life. So like big things that are going on haven't really been captured, which I don't love, but it is what it is. That's just the season of life that I'm in right now. but some big things that happened. I had a friend move away. I've switched therapists, started seeing some other medical professionals and things. Just got diagnosed with ADHD. So things have been changing quite a bit. And I'm actually looking right now for a new job and a new place to move to. So there's a lot going on, and I want to capture that all in kind of one spread. So I'm thinking I'll have kind of my title page, which you've probably seen people using this journal card and cutting out the scallop shape. I'm going to do that. So that will be my title page, but then I'll flip it. And I think I'm going to put like a kind of a selfie with like 26, because that is my age. And maybe my reason why on there. So my reason why is really about catching the season of life, seeing how things change year to year in my life. And then on this side, I'll do I'm picturing kind of like columns, and each column will be a little story of what's going on in my life. So first column, one of my good friends moved, and so my time is spent very differently than it was last year. Kind of my medical updates, and then right now what's going on in my life is my sister's getting married in the fall, so kind of noting where that's been taking up a lot of brain space, planning her events and other weddings going on this summer. So just so I can kind of outline what my life looks like right now in the bigger picture. And then these are other things that are important to me to remember and capture, so I can compare and contrast from past years as well as future years, what I'm consuming. So what music am I listening to right now? Books, movies, podcasts I'm really into, anything that's like something I'm really enjoying in this time of my life. I do want to capture what's happening in the world so that there's a broader view. The tricky thing with that is that I don't always pay attention, or sometimes I purposely don't pay attention to what's going on in the world. So I don't want to incorporate things that aren't really taking up brain space for me or aren't really notable in my life. But if something big happens this week, like for example, if this was the week that the new Pope came into rule or whatever, the new Pope was selected, that's like a big thing that you can't avoid in your day-to-day life. Like the update is the Pope is American, and that's a pretty big deal. So like I would incorporate that, or if any other dramatic thing happens this week, I would capture that. But I don't think I want just like the random headlines that are kind of irrelevant to my life. So we'll see what happens with that. I really want to capture who I'm spending time with, or who takes up my time in a good way. So like I FaceTime my mom like multiple times a week. So documenting how frequently I'm talking to my mom, or who I'm texting day to day, or whatever else. And even who I'm working with and who I spend my time with in work, at home, etc. I think I'm also looking at this project from the perspective of I'm currently planning to move in maybe this year, hopefully this year. So I know next year is going to look totally different. So wanting to capture what my life looks like right now and where I'm currently living, and what my community looks like, and what I love about this place and what I will miss about this place. Not necessarily from the perspective of missing it, because I'm not missing it yet, but just capturing what I love about it. And then I kind of already said this, what is taking up brain space right now. So yeah, so I think it's important with this project to kind of note down what you want to capture rather than trying to capture everything. And then these are my themes for the days. These aren't actually in the order that I'm going to do them, because I ended up kind of finagling with what makes the most sense for each day. But one day I'm going to be focusing on my home and my space. So what makes my home feel like home, the good and the bad. So my apartment's a mess right now, but that's just part of what my home is and what I'm like at home. And then work and purpose. So what my work life looks like, what gets me out of bed in the morning, which I wouldn't necessarily say is always work, but capturing that because it takes up so much of my life. my hobbies and creativity. So obviously my crafting and scrapbooking, card making, as well as board games I enjoy playing, or books I'm reading, things I'm listening to. So yeah, all my hobbies. And then people and relationships. So as I was just saying, the people I spend my time with, self and wellness. So what I do to take care of myself. Maybe that's the skincare products I'm loving right now. Like I said, medical professionals I'm seeing, my therapist, my dietitian, my new ADHD diagnosis, things like that. The community and environment, so capturing what my community looks like, where I, on my lunch break, I go for a walk and I get lunch, and who do I see in my day-to-day life, and what do I enjoy seeing, or what brings a smile to my face, or maybe the negative too. I want to capture both. And then technology and tools. I think that one might be one of the trickiest, but I feel like obviously I have a lot of bits of technology and tools I use. I think also with ADHD, I've created a lot of systems in my life to help me function. And so I want to capture what that looks like right now, as well as right now I'm really into playing my Nintendo Switch. So that's a piece of technology that's pretty new to my life, but I'm really loving. So yeah, and I think this is something I could do this each year, because it is technically capturing everything in my life, just kind of more focused in, so you can compare and contrast year to year. Or if one of these I don't really enjoy capturing, maybe I don't like technology and tools, I don't feel inspired by that, then I can switch that for a future year. Let's see what else I wrote down. I did make a list of things I could be counting, as well as groups of threes. So originally for this page, I wasn't going to do the ing words here. I was going to capture 3 things from each day. So the idea is I'd come up with 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 moments that mattered, 3 things that made today unique. So kind of noting, like, these aren't things that happen every week. This is special and this is why. I think that's a great idea. 3 things I want to remember from today. Noting that I will have my full journaling, but that's a lot of words and a lot of reading. So kind of highlighting the things out from that, like pulling them out and being like, specifically this was great, or something I want to remember. 3 things that felt like me today. So kind of speaking to, this is who I am right now. That'd be really cool. And then you could also do your breakfast, lunch, and dinner here, which was one thing I might have done, but I'm not going to. I'm doing my ing words. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've got. But I just wanted to share that with you, in case you were trying to set up your week in the life. Just keeping in mind that this project is not something, it is something that the community all does together, but you can do it at any time of the year. And so just because the community is documenting it next week, if you're seeing this video a month from now and want to try it out, you can go ahead and do that. Do it whenever it feels right for you, whenever you're having a week that feels like you're regular, because I know some weeks are kind of random. But yeah, so I will have the products I mentioned down below, and then I hope to come back with another video of when I am actually putting in the good stuff, all the storytelling and everything, and do a final flip through once it's done. I'm hoping this won't take a full year to complete like it did for last year's project. I would love to have it finished within June, since we're doing the first week of the month. That gives me the month to document it. So yeah, and if you have any questions about my project, feel free to ask them down in the comments below, and I will see you again real soon. Thanks, bye.